was actually thinking about that, where I was like, like how much, like I don't think we do anything that's like, over the top and like too crass, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, how much can I push it to where it's like, this is just making me unemployable. This is making nobody will ever work with me ever. Like even in a freelance basis where it's like.
No, I think you're okay there. I really do.
Like even me going on my like schizophrenic rants about persona and, you know, astral projection and all my weird shit. That's like how much of this is making me seem like a crazy person locked in his room just shouting into the void.
I mean, so there is that, but I just think if you're not being like offensive, and you know, and you don't have like shitty takes on things that could hurt people, then I think you're fine. Which, you know,
I think I avoid that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And honestly, a lot of those people I see have well-paying jobs. So
right. They get paid for the awful things they say.
Yes.
Oh shit. Hey, what's up? This is DeadEndRoad Show. This is episode 70. I'm kind of in a weird mood. I'm on very little sleep.
And I'm afraid to speak during this podcast now.
Right. Yeah. You're being censored.
I have
being censored by the government.
I won't get into it. I won't get into it.
What happened to the First Amendment, man? I'm gonna go on a. I'm in a weird mood. I was thinking, like, as I was struggling to like fall asleep at like 6 a.m. this morning, 'cause that's how late I was up or how early I was up, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you've already transitioned into the next day at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. I was thinking, like, have you noticed that, like, and this isn't in the notes, so I'm just springing this on you, and I'm sorry. Like how people are just kind of like off now.
No, but maybe if you elaborate a little bit.
Like things are just a little off kilter. Like the way that people are acting and the things that they're saying are just like kind of not making sense. Like you kind of need to like parse what people are saying instead of just like being able to sort of understand them immediately.
Who are these people?
Like online, you know, or just like something seems off. Like the fabric of reality is like shifted like a degree, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not hiring you.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
No, but really though, I don't quite understand.
Like you need to work to like figure out like people just seem like crazy, but like not full blown crazy. Like they're like a step towards jokerification.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Okay. All right.
Do you have like an example?
Not specifically. No, I don't.
Are you just missing references that online that you just don't understand? You're like, what are these people talking about?
No, I don't think so. Like their syntax is like kind of like it's not quite gibberish, but like you need to like work out.
Well, if you come across a concrete example, I'd love to hear it because I'm curious.
Okay. Maybe I'll have a better example for next week. But like I was just kind of thinking about this. Like people seem a little off. Like something's happened. I don't know, something in the air.
Maybe it's like your corner of the internet that you're on.
Maybe. We'll get into that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I want to transition into a dead wrong real quick.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time.
Which I might have a problem with this segment this week.
Yeah, well, so I wanted to I did a lot of reorganization of the notes. Some of it last minute. But anyway, this first one, we did a live show last week. You can check out the archive on youtube.com. Just do a search for DeadEndRoad TV and you'll get it there. Give us a subscription, by the way. That'll help us out a whole lot. Clips and archives and all kinds of fun stuff. So during the live show, we did a TikTok where we did TikTok. Jesus Christ. We did a segment where we watched some TikToks. I completely forgot that I had some TikToks there, and they were even in the notes. I just like completely forgot about it.
I forgot too. I looked at the notes afterwards. I was like, oh no, we didn't get to those.
Yeah. But and normally it's like, oh whatever. Why am I even bringing this up? But here's how nuts I am. And here's how whack my sleep is.
We've established this already.
I know, but this is another example. So we did the show on Friday, and then like I pretty much immediately went to bed because we ended like at 10:30 or whatever. And then so I went to bed. And then I fell asleep. Whatever. And then I woke up sometime in the middle of the night, and I was like, "We didn't do those TikToks." I woke it interrupted my sleep. Like my brain was still like in show mode, and I was like, "Shit, we didn't get to those TikToks." And I was like, "Oh, those are so good. I have to save them. I have to, I was like still already pre-planning next shows." But anyway, I blame Drake for that one. So that was his fault. So tune in next month.
So yeah, I'm assuming these TikToks require the visual component.
They do.
Okay,
they do.
So we'll save those. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They're highly visual. This next one. And so I also here's the other thing. So this segment, I kind of want to also make it like, not necessarily things that we were wrong about or mistakes that we've made or things that we fucked up in the show. I also want to make it sort of the update segment of things that we previously talked about. Because sometimes we save that for like the end of the show, and I don't necessarily know if that makes sense. So that's why I sort of moved this next one up.
Got it. Yeah.
And so also during the live show, we talked about the chess cheating scandal with here's another unemployable thing, the anal beads, and that whole thing that we quickly realized was just a fucking Reddit joke that made its way into headlines. So we do have an update on that. And I'll let you take that over.
Yeah, so we talked about the Magnus Carlsen and Neiman scandal, if you want to call it a scandal, controversy. And we also touched on how Carlsen, while he did, show up to a match and resign immediately, and you are supposed to imply some sort of statement from that, he did not actually explicitly accuse Neiman of cheating at chess. But as of a few days ago, that changed when Carlsen came out with a statement on Twitter. My issue with this statement, though, is that he does accuse Neiman of cheating, but he doesn't give very convincing evidence or any sort of proof.
He didn't really give any evidence. He just kind of said,
"Yeah,
he's a cheater. I know he's a cheater."
Yes,
I'm paraphrasing.
So I have it in front of me here. There's one paragraph where he makes the accusation. I want to just read it verbatim. So he says, "I believe that Neiman has cheated more and more recently than he has publicly admitted. His over-the-board progress has been unusual, and throughout our game at the Sinquefield Cup," I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that, "I had the impression that he wasn't tense or even fully concentrating on the game in critical positions, while outplaying me as black in a way I think only a handful of players can do. This game contributed to changing my perspective." So you're saying he's good and he's composed.
That's the impression I got.
Like, okay, so I had the impression that he wasn't tense or even fully concentrating. How could you know that? How could you know that for sure?
Right.
I mean, who's to say how someone handles their composure and body language in a chess match, right? Especially someone who you haven't really encountered much before, because this person is fairly new to the professional chess world, right?
Right. He's only 19.
And then the next part says that he outplayed Carlsen as the black pieces in a way that he thinks only a handful of players can do. So again, you're just saying that he was outplaying you. That doesn't mean he was cheating.
Yeah. I want to go back to the like his demeanor thing. Maybe he just has like a good poker face.
Yeah, absolutely. And so was this instance an in person, or was this a virtual match? I am almost positive it was an in-person match.
Yeah.
So they're sitting across the table from each other.
So how could he possibly, like, what is the mechanics of cheating in that instance?
I would imagine it is some sort of device that would sort of allow input on the moves that are being made. And this is just me kind of riffing. Like, I don't exactly know how
Yeah.
But so if you had a device hidden away and you were inputting the moves that were being made by Carlsen, and that device was signaling back to you like what the best move in response would be in that scenario, like you're basically using an engine to combat Carlsen, which like there's no implication in the statement by Carlsen of that sort of device or anything.
Right. That's like so complicated.
It really
like,
is.
It would make more sense if this was a virtual match, and you could say that he was using a computer on a second monitor, or something like that to input moves and, yada, yada, yada. Right. But if this was an in-person match, and to say that like he was using a computer to like find the best move? Like, how is that being relayed? Does he have somebody else? Is he using a tiny little Bluetooth you can't see in his ear? Like, what is the mechanics of this? It's so much.
I know. And there is that wrinkle in the story where Neiman, when he was younger, cheated on chess.com and has been banned from play on chess.com. But, you know, that's a different circumstance, different scenario entirely.
Yeah.
I will mention, so later on in the statement, Carlson goes on to say, there is more that I would like to say. Unfortunately, at this time, I am limited in what I can say without explicit permission from Neiman to speak openly. So far, I have only been able to speak with my actions, and those actions have stated clearly that I am not willing to play chess with Neiman. I hope that the truth on this matter comes out, whatever it may be. So yeah, very vague. Nothing to really take from that.
That I take as some sort of defense against defamation. And again, I'm not a fucking lawyer.
No, but I can see that.
Not by any stretch. But if he says something that he can't necessarily prove and that Neiman takes offense to, then he could be liable for, you know, some kind of defamation and he could be taken to court. But if Neiman decides to give him permission to speak or whatever, then, you know, a lawyer could say that this can't be defamation if he allowed him to say whatever he wants, right?
Sure.
And I don't know if that's like actually how the law would function, but that's the sort of sense that I'm getting from why he said that.
Yeah, because if you have legitimate proof, then why would you need Neiman to sign off? Like, I don't know. What you're saying makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, unfortunately, this has the news cycle has continued on with this chess saga, with this statement here. You know, there's no end to this in sight. Maybe we'll get more clarity, but I'm not convinced by this statement from Carlson.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Without any proof, it's just like you're going to take this dude at his word to be like, he's cheating. I believe he's cheating. And, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
based on
okay.
body language and him outplaying you. I'm sorry that we need more than that.
Right. Yeah. You know, I don't know if this dude like has a fan base that he's just trying to, you know, rile up or whatever in the chess world. But yeah,
that's the other thing that makes this story so intriguing for a lot of people is that Carlson has the highest chess rating of all time. A lot of people will call him the greatest chess player of all time. So, you know, like in that context, it's just, this is all so strange.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll have to see. We might come back to this. There's more information, but I did declare myself a Neiman fan at the end of the live stream. So, you know, maybe I'll be having to take that back down the road, but at the moment, you know, I don't see any.
I guess we'll see. Yeah, I think we need a little proof. I think we need something.
We do,
or at least a more concrete allegation of the hows and whys
for sure
of how he cheated. Even if it was like a more concrete like chess mechanics, like what moves specifically, you know, like even something like that. It's still so very vague.
I'd have to imagine there are chess streamers on Twitch that have analyzed their match over and over and are probably going over those exact things. But I haven't seeked that out.
Sure. Next up, we have another infrequent segment that we sometimes do. Worst beats in the world. I don't have any introduction for this. I have to make something. So you found some stuff, I guess.
Yes, I took it upon myself to run one of your segments.
Yeah.
We'll see how this goes here. So I came across this remix on TikTok, and I couldn't just have it to myself. I needed to share it.
Okay.
I need the suffering to be passed along. In fact, this might be one of those curses where it's like in order to rid yourself of it, you need to give it to somebody else.
Oh, like the ring.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Let me pull it up here. I am on the wrong page. Okay, so this comes via Jack Rindrod on TikTok, who reposted this YouTube clip of a remix of Sweet Caroline.
Oh, God.
Sweet Caroline.
Oh.
Good times never seem so. I've been inclined.
Yeah, so I don't think you could hear me, but I didn't get any of the audio on that. I'm not sure if that was like just on my end or out.
Oh, okay. I'll see if that's better. I really don't want to play it again.
Yeah, but let's do it.
Yeah. Shit.
Sweet Caroline. Good times never seem so. I've been inclined. Sweet Caroline.
And what's so beautiful about this is I think this was done like in earnest. I think this was not like it's not
Really?
bad on purpose. I really don't have the impression that's bad on purpose.
The like slightly auto-tuned vocal on why would you need to auto-tune an original
To fit the vibe, man. I just love
the vibes are bad. Yeah, the Chris Nolan bass. Oh my god.
Oh man.
That's fucking horrible. Like, first of all, I already don't. Sweet Caroline is like a terrible song to begin with. Mostly because it's a song about having a crush on like a 5-year-old.
Oh yikes.
Yeah, it's about Caroline Kennedy when she was a child or whatever. It's just horrific
God.
to begin with. It's horrific stuff. The fucking Vine Boom ass. Yikes.
Yeah. So yeah, that was rough. Also, it feels like it came from the early 2010s, right? Isn't that when all the dubstep remixes were going on? I didn't know people were still doing those.
Yeah. The Chris Nolan bass Vine Boom, whatever you want to call that shit, wasn't even like to the beat of the original. Like, it misses.
Yes, it like slows it down in a really uncomfortable way,
and then like shifts it to like the minor key. Where it's almost like Phantom of the Opera organ.
Yeah, it's a very like whiplashy change in tone, you know?
Yeah.
Which is I think what makes it really funny. But so for this segment, what I wanted to do was I wanted to follow up each worst beat in the world with a palate cleanser of sorts. Because you might have seen the notes here. I have another segment called Best Beats in the World. Very original. Sure. And these are going to come via Sitar Nick on TikTok, who I highly recommend following. This person does all types of covers, a lot of them requests from like commenters, sitar covers of popular music. It's very good stuff. So I'm going to play this one here, and it's a very recognizable riff that I know you'll get instantly.
Yeah.
American football.
Yeah. Yeah. If you had like an emo kid directing a movie that was set in like, I don't know, the Middle East. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was great though. And there's an even better one on the way. But so yeah, back to the worst beats. You might have come across this because this was going around a few weeks ago. But have you heard the Queen died?
I think I heard something about that.
Okay, good. So BBC Radio overseas, they reported on the Queen's death as it happened. And this is an actual clip, as far as I'm aware, taken from a BBC Radio broadcast.
I think this might be... Okay, I won't say anything.
Oh, copyright?
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe, but I don't know.
This is BBC News. We're interrupting our schedules for the following announcement. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Fuck yeah, dude.
What a beat drop.
Wait. Is the lyric, it's a bourgeois beat?
You know, I didn't pick up on that the first time around, but that's wonderful.
Hold on.
Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
It's a bourgeois beat, it's a bourgeois beat, it's a bourgeois beat, it's a bourgeois beat.
That's incredible.
It really is.
That's incredible. Okay, here's the thing. This is like a theme.
Yeah, this has happened before, right?
Yes.
Buckingham Palace has announced the death of His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh.
Is this like fucking Rave Hour on BBC Radio?
It's Radio 1's dance anthems.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Why do they need, like, yeah, there's news channels. It's like 2020, like, you know, whenever this one happened, I guess. People are going to find out. You don't need to do this on the dance station.
It's such a vibe killer.
The Bourgeois Beat one, though, is choice.
Chef's kiss.
That one,
this feels intentional.
That one's very
it feels intentional.
I think so.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, man.
But back to Sitar Nick. This is Oblivion by Grimes on sitar, and this is my favorite of his. So good. Nice. So damn good.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes.
Wait, hold on. So I saw a couple days ago, Grimes was trending, and I was like, "Oh God, what did she do or say now?" And I click on the tag, and again, the British people. I don't know what's going on with them. The Queen died, and they're all kind of losing their shit. It's something about some just kind of UK journalist named something. His last name is Grimes.
Oh,
something Grimes, and so that's why Grimes was trending. Had nothing to do with Grimes, the
musician. So it wasn't about her elf ears or anything?
No. She wasn't out and about dressed as a Morrowind NPC. She wasn't.
I know. Recently, a few weeks ago, she was looking for recommendations for like body modification places for like elf ears.
Sure.
Which that's pretty cool. But,
she was surprisingly not in the news. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously mixed feelings about Grimes, but I do love her music.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that disclaimer is always necessary when it comes to Grimes.
I mean, she's like not like actively malicious. She's just fucking goofy.
Yeah, a little bit misguided in certain takes. Maybe some of her like monologues aren't as thought out and ready for publishing.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like she's at least gotten away from Ian Ma. So
sure.
Okay, so the last worst beat in the world, which I don't know if it's fair to put this under that category. I'll let you decide. But
well, now we have this dichotomy. We have the worst beats and the best beats. So now we need something in the middle.
Okay, so this will fall somewhere. I'm not sure where. So there's a new rap group. I don't know exactly how new they are, but they're taking over TikTok. They're a TikTok sensation. Okay. So yeah, this is the Northern Boys, and they have a new rap single out, and I wanted to share this with you.
Gone paste and my face is plastic. Having a gangbang to Jackson 5. Right. I'm a ratchet guy. Lost my wife for a black goodbye. No, don't talk to me unless it's an emergency. I gotta take a number 3. That's a piss and a shit and a wank in a tree. I said, hello there, can I fill your hole? She took one look and she told me no. I got a wife at home and she hates me. I sleep outside cause she makes me. Big bowl of the cocaine, that's me breakfast. I tried crack once, I just wanted to test it and I'm hooked now. I could marry my pipe. My wife wouldn't care, she just wants me to die. It's glue gun paste on my face.
What is going on in the UK? What is going on? Are they all right?
Is this what you meant at the top of the show about everybody losing their mind?
A little bit.
I love the number 3. That is my favorite line in that.
What is happening? I don't like the line "gangbang to the Jackson 5." No, I will say. No. I don't like that one. I don't like that one.
But yeah, I've been seeing this, and like I saw it on TikTok first. This landed on my For You, of course it did. And then Stereo Gum on Instagram shared it, requesting that they be the halftime performer at the Super Bowl now that Taylor Swift is out. So
why didn't these dudes do the London Olympics?
I know, what a missed opportunity.
Yeah. There's a comment here. It says Patrick in the white shirt and jeans was my PE teacher, which these dudes should not be within 1,000 feet of a school. No. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was something. And I just want to end.
Northern
I want to
boys.
end with one more Sitar Nick video. This is a Bad Guy by
Sure.
Billie Eilish.
Oh, classic. TikTok, I swear to God. When I hit pause, I want you to pause the video. That's how that button's supposed to work. It's almost like it was made for Sitar.
I know. That's what's so great about Sitar Nick's videos. It just.
Oh, wow. That's the top comment. Jesus Christ.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, this song was made for Sitar.
No, but he makes them all sound like that's the original instrument of choice. You know, he's just that good.
Mhm.
I also love how his profile in the bio says, "I have other hobbies also."
Sure. See? Yeah, because you're stuck doing one thing.
I know.
You're stuck.
And now you're just taking thousands of requests, and that's all you're doing all day. It's just
Right. He's like, you know, I got a whole life. I'm multifaceted. God, just reduced to being such a one-dimensional caricature.
it's good music though.
Yeah, it's very good.
All right, so that was the worst and the best beats in the world for this week.
Oh, that's good. And now for something completely different. It's time for a deep dive this week. So people may or may not have heard, depending on, I don't know, how they've been exposed to news or sports. I honestly don't know how like wide this story is getting.
I know. It's so hard to get a feel for.
Yeah. So if people aren't aware, former football player Brett Favre is embroiled in a massive fraud scandal where he helped orchestrate the siphoning of funds from Mississippi state welfare programs to the funding of a volleyball I don't know what you call it, stadium arena facility for I want to get is it Southern Miss University? Everything's Mississippi. I want to get the school right. Yeah, the University of Southern Mississippi, where his daughter plays volleyball. And he helped orchestrate it with the governor of Mississippi. I want to get the number because it's a fucking astronomical number. They siphoned $77 million, and it is the largest public corruption case in Mississippi history. And there are leaked text messages. So like he can't even plead that, he's like, oh, I didn't know what was going on. I was just trying to get this built from a dot, all that kind of shit.
We have his text every step of the way. He's fully informed. Yeah,
he is talking to, I forget who the fuck he's talking to. It's somebody that's like in working with the state. Yeah. He says, if you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? And they're like, oh, no. And then nobody's going to find out. He's like, okay, thanks. Cool. I needed to hear that. So he knew every step of the way that this was fucked. And he did it anyway. So there's that. Just the absolute worst. Stealing money from the poorest people. And Mississippi is the poorest state in the nation. So stealing from the absolute poorest people in the country.
And on top of that, just like the cherry on top here is that Brett Favre was sort of like a state icon.
State icon, state hero, he Hall of Fame career, blah, 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 blah. College boy, all that kind of shit. Good old boy, Wrangler jeans, the whole 9 yards, right? I didn't mean to make a football pun, but it just happens. So now it's come out that he's got a charity foundation like all these guys do, right? So now he's funneled cash from that for the same venture. He's funneled money for Southern Miss athletics. So he's got a charity, Favre for Hope, that was supposedly created to support charities that provide support to undeserved and disabled children and breast cancer patients, according to its mission statement. But the charities made 3 large donations to USM Athletic Foundation, totaling more than $130,000. And this is from CBS Sports. Those sums were significantly more than donations made to other organizations. $60,000 in 2018, $46,000 in 2019, $26,000 in 2020. The largest donation made to any other organization during that time was $11,000 to the Special Olympics of Mississippi in 2019.
Wow, over 10 times more than the second highest. Yeah, this is news to me. I wasn't aware of the charity aspect of this.
I believe this just came out yesterday, based on this article. So this is just completely fucked.
It is astonishing how fucked up this is.
Yeah. Siphoning money from the poorest people in the country, and now from a charity that is supposed to be under the guise of helping disabled children and cancer patients. How fucking evil is this?
Yes, for sure. And like, I was listening to one of Mississippi's reporters that has been reporting on this case for years now, because it has been a thing for years. It's really picked up after the text messages and whatnot have come out. But, and so they were talking about just the layers upon layers of harm that Brett Favre has caused here. When you think about all the people that were denied welfare benefits who really needed them, and like the circumstances, like there was a case where one person could no longer have custody of their child because of circumstances related to not being able to get welfare, right? So like there are all these individual cases that add up to just countless numbers of them, of people's lives being at best disrupted and at worst ruined because they were denied access to welfare when they really needed it, and because this money was going into Brett Favre's endeavors.
It's insane. And the thing is that I don't see any talk of any repercussions whatsoever, because this was in coordination with the state. This was in coordination with the governor. Where are the charges? Where's the district attorney? Where's anything?
Yeah, that's really one of the crazy things about it, is just Brett Favre's just kind of sitting at home, you know? There's really nothing concrete that I'm seeing as far as consequences.
Right. And this is the big problem that I have with the NFL all the way down. And this is going to be like, I feel like I'm going to go into another rant like I did whenever I talked about the Super Bowl.
Sure. Yeah.
Like this is the kind of shit that the NFL, like, they prop up these dudes, they prop up these quarterbacks, right? Let's not even forget that Brett Favre, his whole dick pic scandal.
I don't remember that.
He sent, was it dick pics or was it the massages? I forget, because the massage thing might have been Peyton Manning. I shouldn't type in Brett Favre dick pic because I want to see the dick pic. Brett Favre once sent me cock shots is the headline here. Yeah, he would send a lot of dick pics. This is from 2010. Social media reminds Brett Favre he sent unwanted dong pics. So yeah, so he was all up in that kind of shit.
That's harassment, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If somebody doesn't want to receive a dick pic and they get a dick pic, what do you call that? So like they prop up these dudes, right? They get into the Hall of Fame. They get the highest honors. Even this CBS fucking sports article that's talking about basically how much of a scumbag he is and how he siphoned money from disabled children and cancer patients. At the end here ends with a list of his accolades.
Wow.
Brett Favre starred for the Packers from 1992 to 27, earning 3 straight MVP awards and winning Super Bowl whatever the fuck. He joined the New York Jets in 2018 and finished his career with the Minnesota Vikings. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2016.
They'll probably call that, like the reporter will probably consider that like context, but none of that context matters when it comes to the crimes here. All you need to know is that this is a popular celebrity, public figure.
They do that in the lead. Legendary NFL quarterback and former Southern Miss star Brett Favre is under fire. There you go. That's the context. That's the context. You don't need to give a list of his bona fides at the bottom here. I get that it's CBS Sports, but come on.
Wow.
So that's what the NFL does. They prop up these dudes, right? And then they go on to do heinous shit. Heinous shit. Whether it's beating the shit out of women and doing worse to them. Deshaun Watson, 24 at least accusations of sexual harassment and sexual assault.
Yes.
Right? He gets $350 million fully guaranteed contract.
Yes, the contract was built to withstand any legal issues. Guaranteed money.
Fully guaranteed. And the league suspends him for, was it 10 games or whatever the fuck?
It was initially 6.
And wipes their hands of it.
Was it bumped up to 10?
I don't know. 6,
Big
10, whatever the fuck.
It's the same thing.
Whatever. And then on the air, whenever the Browns play, they will refer to it as the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation.
Right.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great.
That's where the priority should be.
The quarterback situation. That's what it is. Or how about you call it a suspension for sexual harassment at the very least?
Yeah.
Something like that. Nah, it's a quarterback situation. Great. If it's not that kind of shit, it's rushing players back from 3 days after they had a concussion, calling it a back issue.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up from last night. I really did, because I think it connects.
That's what I'm talking about. It's rotten all the way down. Rushing a quarterback 3 days after he has a concussion, lying, calling it a back issue, saying that they cleared the concussion protocol. this kid gets slammed again in the head and looks like he dies.
Yeah, we're talking about Tua Tagovailoa, by the way, the Miami Dolphins quarterback.
I turned on the game last night. Not 2 minutes later, I see a kid almost die.
Yeah, and that's one aspect of it too that really grossed me out was the broadcast side of it. So like I turned it on around that time too, just by coincidence. I wasn't watching it.
Yeah.
And so he takes this really bad hit, and he's already got the concussion issue, and he takes a hit to the head. And the TV broadcast, Amazon Prime, they show from a million different camera angles, close-ups, slow motion shots, over and over for like 5 minutes. This kid in excruciating pain.
They not only that, they continued to show it throughout the rest of the game. Throughout the rest of the game.
Like it's a part.
It was the fourth quarter. There was like 2 minutes left. They show it again.
So yeah, that they show it again and again. And it's like that for them is a part of the spectacle, as sick as that is. It's a part of the spectacle, a part of the NFL viewing experience is to watch this kid suffer a very, very terrifying injury that he shouldn't have even been out on the field in the first place for. But because he is a star quarterback coming off of career best performance and is on primetime TV, they
primetime TV against it was two young quarterbacks. Yes. They wanted the two young quarterback duel on primetime TV on the shiny $1 trillion Amazon, streaming.
It was
so they rushed this.
It was
kid.
Chilling.
They cleared the
because I sorry to interrupt, but
No, you're good.
It was chilling because I watched this happen, and then I went on Twitter a couple hours later, and there was that tweet from the NFL, Tua versus Joe Burrow tonight promoting the game.
Yep.
And that was quoted 7 hours ago. It said, which is hours before game time, by a physician. You might have seen this too because it was going around. A physician saying that if they decide to allow Tua to play, that is a huge step back for the NFL's concussion protocols, and everybody should be sued if he sustains an injury, which of course by this point we already knew the worst had happened.
Yeah. So for complete context for non NFL following people, so he played a game on Sunday. He took a hit to the back of the head. He's like after the hit, he stands up, and then he's clearly fucking out of it. He wobbles and he falls down forward, and then he has to be taken out. And they called it the team called it a back issue. He said his back was injured and that he cleared the concussion protocol, and that even the NFL's independent doctors, which are supposed to be, they're not with the team, they're supposed to be looking out for the best interest of the player's health and all that shit, also cleared him. Bull fucking shit. Bullshit. Right. He took a shot to the head, didn't know where he was. Are you kidding me? That's the clearest concussion I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of them because I watched Sidney Crosby play hockey. Yes. I've seen some fucking concussions. Bullshit. And then, since this is a Thursday game, it means there's a shorter gap from when he's going to play next.
Yep.
So they rushed this fucking kid back. If the game was on Sunday, he still shouldn't have played.
And do you think if he was a left tackle and sustained the same injury, do you think he would have cleared the protocol, or is it because
no,
because the quarterback
shot.
Is the money may for the league and the team and everything.
And they're so fucking short-sighted. This is, and I'm gonna go full lefty here, but this is capitalism on fucking roids.
1,000%.
This is short-sighted profits over long-term stability. You have this young star quarterback. You would think you would want to protect him for the duration of his career over rushing him to play one single game for the glitz and the glam, a potential regular season win, this marquee matchup. Like what is the actual end goal here, right? Is to see this kid become a Hall of Fame quarterback, a long-term star, or to get one single good game out of him.
I know. Yeah, that is very short-sighted. And like the capitalism angle, it holds true because like these players are not even like when you're watching that broadcast and you're seeing the replay over and over again, it's like they don't even consider them human beings at this point.
No. They're commodities. They're
capital.
They're chips to be used.
Yeah, commodities. There's no humanity here. It's all bottom lines and how much money can we make off of you? It's disgusting.
Right. And then you go online as soon as it happens, and all of a sudden there's 4 fucking hashtags all about what happened. Damn Tua, prayers for Tua, concussion, and then like what happened to his hands, because he like went into, I forget what it's called specifically, but like it looked like he was paralyzed.
It did.
Because his hands like went into like stasis.
And the broadcast, yeah, the broadcast
called.
ate that up. They were so fixated on it.
Well, it's hard not to be, because most people don't see that kind of shit. It was shocking.
Yeah, that's what it's shock. It's spectacle. It's part of the viewing experience. As sick as that is, that's just the way it felt, you know, and it shouldn't be that way, but it is.
Yeah. So here's the entirely like, and this is all fucked up, but here's like the really sick thing. We honestly could have watched a kid die, like for real, because of second impact syndrome, which is whenever somebody has a traumatic brain injury, like a concussion, a severe concussion. And if that impact, the first impact, doesn't heal and they take another hit, there's apparently a 50% chance that the second hit will result in death. It's a coin flip.
Oh my.
What the fuck?
Oh my.
And that's worth one game. That's worth 60 minutes of Amazon.
Wow.
Really? Fuck. A coin toss.
Yeah, that's I didn't know that statistic. That's you know, it's quite stunning, even with all that we know.
That like, this is why like they don't take concussions seriously. They really don't. They never have.
They've wanted to provide the illusion that they do. That they want the public to think that they care about the health and safety of the players, but ultimately that's not a priority, as we've seen.
Right. And for them, it's a fucking spectacle. It's a fucking spectacle because they do the stupid blue medical tent on the field. See, look, we'll take the player into the blue medical tent. We're doing something. They want you to see it. They want you to think that they're doing something. Look, the player's in the blue medical tent. That's where we'll clear him to go back to play. We'll stick a pain-killing shot in his ribs.
Is that like a Freudian slip where you almost said that's where we'll kill? Because
is that what I said?
It sounded like that to me, but no, it really is just it feels performative.
It completely is. Do you know another fucking sick joke that the NFL does? Do you know how in years past, like players would like write things on their cleats or like on the back of their helmet, and then they would get fined for it? Like they would, like somebody's mom died and they would like write like "love you," you know, or whatever, or like their mom's name. And they would get fucking fined for it because that was like a uniform violation.
Sure.
And then everybody was like, well, fuck you, the NFL, like you're fucking backwards. You're going to fine somebody for their dead mom who died of cancer during breast cancer month or whatever the fuck they would try to do with the pink towels. So then they finally reversed and were like, you could have certain slogans, that pre-selected slogans on your thing. And so now they're like super generic. And so now they're like these pre-approved things where like players can stick on the back of their helmet. It just says "End Racism."
Oh, I thought that was like a universal thing that they all had to have on there.
They don't all have it. I guess it's if you want it.
But yeah, they're pre-approved. Yeah, there's been all sorts of censorship from the NFL, like the whole Kaepernick thing, trying to use your platform for social justice issues.
Yeah, but they water it down to like where it means nothing. End racism.
Oh, complete nothing statement. Because
what is that? What's that going to do?
It's a nothing statement, and it's also also hypocritical because the NFL has done so many things to prevent any sort of progress towards improving issues of race.
End racism.
Yeah, like I don't even like, you can't even say like I
how, where,
exactly.
Why? Like to what end? What are the steps? What are you actually doing or saying?
I know.
Fucking.
And I saw like they'll have that in like one end zone because they'll like paint it in the back of the end zone. Then on the opposite side of the field, they'll say like it takes all of us. It's like, okay, but sure. But all of us should.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
How are we doing?
All of us includes you, NFL, because I don't see you taking any steps there. So it's like it all rings so hollow, so performative.
It's just everything, top to bottom. I was watching whatever fucking Cowboys game was on prime time because the Cowboys are always in prime time, and they're just monument. They're just monument to wealth of a stadium. It's just this grandiose bullshit that makes me sick every time I see it with the gigantic screen that doesn't even make sense. It's bigger than the field.
Yes.
And the punters just whack that thing every time, and they got to redo so many punts. It's like, this is so stupid.
They're still doing that? I thought that was like, didn't they like enact a rule where like they couldn't punt past a certain height or something? That's not a thing.
The rule is that they got to redo the kick.
God. That's
when
fun
they hit
TV.
the fucking TV.
That's wonderful.
I think we talked enough about the NFL. It's good. I guess it's time for Moogle, right? Yeah. somebody in my raid group actually mentioned Limp Bizkit and Nookie, and I was too embarrassed to say that I made an edit of Nookie with Moogle noises in it.
You're supposed to be promoting this show.
I know. I don't know if I want them to listen.
Yeah, you've had some rants in the past.
I know. I doubt they'd go back into the catalog. I've tried to be better about that just in case they find it.
Yeah.
But I don't.
You're unemployable.
I'm unemployable. I'm gonna get kicked from the raid team. I'm antisocial. Yeah. I'm making enemies left and right. Drake hates me. It's terrible. So yeah, just rolling with the lack of consistency in the show. It's time for an anime check-in.
I felt bad about my lack of anime watching the past few months, so I actually I watched a couple of I watched a couple episodes of one of these shows you listed last night.
I'm very curious which one.
Okay, but I'll let you take over.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I've been watching some anime. This was a weird time for me with anime because I caught up on a bunch of shit, so I had to go weekly, and I usually hate doing that. And I found myself doing that for a bunch of shows. So now like the summer season's ended, and the fall season, which begins sort of in October, will be beginning soon. And so I watched a bunch of the summer shows kind of weekly, which I usually don't do. This one I did not watch weekly. I sort of binged this one. And it's called My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex. And I'm not going to defend the title.
This is the one, by the way.
Oh God in heaven. Yeah, I'm not gonna defend the title, and I can't defend the title. It would be a fruitless endeavor. How many episodes did you watch?
2.
Okay. So now I'm curious about your impressions.
Yeah, this is just another one of your fetish shows.
Okay, all right. All right. So the show, the premise is in the title, right?
Yeah, I don't hate the title. I think the title is accurate and it gives you an idea of what's to come. So
the title tells you what's on the it's what's on the tin.
Mm-hmm.
So these two bookish kids, they had a relationship, they broke up, and oopsie daisy, they're now step siblings.
And you say bookish, this dude he is living in a library in his bedroom.
Yes.
I've never seen so many books in one place in my life.
Yes. He has quite the stash of light novels, regular novels. He's reading all kinds of things. One cool thing about this show that I found, it's kind of Easter eggy. So this is produced by Kadokawa, which is a very big publishing and media company in Japan. And so what they did was they just stashed a bunch of their other light novels and anime that have been turned into anime into the show. So like he'll be reading some shit, and it'll just be another Kadokawa light novel with like the full cover and title and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
Just like, yeah, it's like it works as promotion, but it's also like he was reading like not even current shit. He was reading like old shit. Like he was reading The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, which is like from 2010. And is like incredibly popular. So it's like they really didn't need to promote it. So it's kind of like an Easter egg.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, this one it's like they know what they're doing. There's an episode that you obviously didn't get to where they're watching a movie. And the dude is talking about like, oh, what'd you think of the movie? And he was like, yeah, it seemed like the director put all his fetishes on display. So it's like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like they get it. The one thing that I actually appreciated about the show was that they do some flashbacks to their relationship, because the two main characters dated in middle school before they were step siblings, right?
Yes.
And whenever it shows their relationship and how it fell apart, it is an incredibly accurate portrayal of like how kids sort of date and navigate relationships at that age. And like the weird petty jealousies you have, you know, like if your boyfriend is just like innocently talking to another girl, you know, and just like the weird little arguments you have if you've been dating somebody for a long time. And just the way that you, like the weird superstitious things that you have whenever you're like a teenager, and you're like, oh, you know, what if my girlfriend just showed up right now? You know, like wouldn't that be romantic? Like things like that. Just like the daydreamy kind of things that you have. It's not good because they like sort of they end up together at the end because they have to.
Spoilers. Who said I wasn't going to continue watching?
You were not. No, you weren't. So like it's gross, right? It's gross. It's even more gross because they introduce these shows. They're always structured to introduce like another girl as a threat to the relationship.
Right.
The problem with this one is that the threat that they introduce is like so much better for the boy than the sister is that it's unreal. It's just unreal. And he just flat out turns her down. He's like, nah, I can't. I'm like, he doesn't say it, but he's like, I'm preoccupied by my stepsister. It's like, fucking dude, why? Okay, so the other thing that intrigued me about the show at the beginning was that I thought the setup was going to be more like Kaguya-sama. And you probably got this, where you got this in the first episode, right? Where they were going to be playing this game of trying to trick each other into, if somebody does something that is not acting like a sibling towards the other and acting like they were, you know, had their previous relationship, they would be, you know, punished in some way. And that's how they would try to sort of straighten out their new sibling relationship. It's like, we have to act like siblings and like we didn't know each other before. And that's sort of how I thought the rest of the show was going to progress.
No, because they can't keep their hands off each other, so it didn't work.
Basically. Yeah. So that was a bummer. I watched it and I didn't really think I'd spend this much time talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it definitely is playing into the fetish of like the stepsibling, which, you know, is a thing. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I think this isn't even the first time we've talked about an anime that addressed this on the show.
No, yeah, we did Citrus.
That's right. I feel like there was at least one more, but yeah, so it's definitely a thing. From what I watched of it, I didn't dislike it, you know?
Right.
I was hoping... I was hoping that, and I liked the idea of those flashbacks, like you said, because I think a show like this really lives or dies by its characterization and how much you care about the characters, right?
The characterization was really strong. And also, I didn't confirm this. I wanted to, but I think the voice actress that plays the sister, I think might be the same as Kaguya from Kaguya-sama.
Oh, okay.
They had a very similar voice. I wanted to look into that, but I forgot to, because I honestly didn't think I'd spend this much time talking about this one. But like the characterization was really strong. And those flashback segments felt like totally realized, and in a way that you don't necessarily see in anime, especially anime with titles like this. So yeah, but then of course it's got to fall into the trope and the predictable path and ending. And
didn't Citrus have similar issues where a lot of the character work was really strong? And because there's a lot of that series that I liked a lot, but it does fall into those traps, right?
Yeah. It's like they gotta appease these tropes, and it's like, well, why do we need to do this? Let these characters shine, you know?
Yeah, and like the best anime that I've seen, in the very limited amount that I've seen, it's subverting one of those overly used tropes. Like that should be, you know, on their minds as well, trying to sort of like change things up.
Yeah. Now for another mess of a, we talked about this early on when we thought it was much shorter, but a couple of cuckoos, which got 24 episodes.
Yes, it did. I didn't watch any further yet.
I knew,
because I didn't want to catch up and go weekly. So
yeah. Boy, it just kind of keeps going.
Yeah.
I mentioned there was like sort of a twist, you know, around that like episode 10 mark. That doesn't get resolved. They kind of bring it up. It still kind of lingers. It just sort of gets messier. Like the characters are fun and everything, but it's like, okay, all right. I don't know what our end game is here. It's just kind of messy. Like all these character interactions. And then you have the dad who is now being like, well, if you don't want to marry the girl that you know, we set up this arranged marriage with, Well, now you can just marry your sister instead. That's an option. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Add it to the list.
Yeah.
God damn it.
What the fuck? And it's fine because, well, you know, you're not blood related. But no. They grew up together.
Yeah.
No. Stop this. So like this dad is like this evil genius in the background, like doing all this weird machinations with these teenagers. And it's like, why?
So let me get this straight. So the kid's two choices of marriage are, one, his non-biological sister that he grew up with, or two, the girl who grew up under the care of his biological parents.
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yes. And then he's in love with the purple-haired girl.
Oh.
Right? Remember?
From school?
Yeah.
Like the school rival, right? They were like both top of the
Yes.
class. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. Yeah. And so she slowly finds out about all of this and is like, well, okay, I gotta like, now the two blonde sisters are my rivals in love.
God damn it.
So now this is just a harem anime.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, God damn it.
Also, again, spoilers. There's a good...
Nobody was going to watch this.
No, it's true.
Nobody was going to watch this. It's like, what the fuck? And then, so remember how the purple-haired girl was like, I'm also engaged. But she was like engaged to like her taking on the family legacy of like this temple work or whatever.
Yeah.
Was how it was explained. Well, apparently that's not true. And she's actually engaged.
Oh.
But then that's not resolved. That's sort of like cliffhangery.
Well, they probably just didn't have enough time, you know?
They had so much.
I know.
Yeah, so it's a mess.
That's disappointing.
That's a mess. Yeah.
Messy summer in anime.
Yeah. So moving on.
No, there's more. Yeah.
There's more. I watched the second season of Rent a Girlfriend because I accidentally caught up with that one too. And so you're probably not familiar with this one because we haven't talked about it before.
It's been recommended to me on Crunchyroll's algorithm after I watched like Citrus and stuff.
Probably. So this is a rom-com harem light anime, unfortunately, where college dude gets dumped by his first girlfriend and then starts using a rental girlfriend service where you can, you know, pay to go on dates with rental girlfriends, and you know they will just go on little dates with you, blah 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 blah, through an app, and that's what he does. And he sort of falls in love with the rental girlfriend, and then it turns out, oh, wouldn't you know it, they're accidentally neighbors. But they're not supposed to like know each other in real life past the date, right? It's supposed to be like this separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, oops, they go to the same college, but she uses a different name. You know, she uses like an alias for the rental thing.
Can I say, I don't hate this setup so far.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So then they have to navigate like, you know, please don't tell anybody about this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I won't because I fucking love you. And he's got to navigate, you know, running into his ex and kinds of things like that. And then he meets other rental girls, you know, through the app and their relationships and things like that. So that's the basic premise.
Mm-hmm.
And I was interested in this because I was like, okay, is this going to talk about sex work in a meaningful capacity?
Right.
In some way? Or is this just going to be, you know, whatever? It always verges on getting there.
Mm-hmm.
But never quite does it. It never quite gets there. Sometimes it does, but it never quite addresses everything that you would think would come up with, like, if this was a fully, like, legalized, you know, accepted service that was out there. You know what I mean?
Is it treated like one in the context of the show?
Yes, but it's sort of like, you know, if he doesn't want people to know that he's doing it, right?
Okay.
You know, it's like sort of stigmatized in that way.
Sure.
So that's addressed, but it's like on his end.
Yeah. But the more interesting stuff, it would be on her end, I would think.
Well, to a degree, yes, she obviously doesn't want people to know that she's doing it. But that's mostly like for... It's sort of gestured for a safety thing, but like not, you know, fully.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like there's like that's what I'm saying. There's always hints that it's going to like, okay, like address it. But then there's like the elephant in the room, which is that in Japan there is a problem with something called compensated dating, which is similar to what goes on in the show, which is it's basically escorting, or if you want to call it prostitution, you know, it's sex work. It's basically escorting, right? The problem is that it's usually high school girls.
Oh.
And it's like I don't think it's legal. You know, it's not legal, right? It's an underground thing, but it's sort of accepted that it happens.
Okay.
Right. And it leads to, you know, if how am I going to say this? Like it's
well, considering if it's high school girls, that leads to some, I would imagine, some dangerous situations, right?
Yes, it leads to assaults and things like that, especially because they call it compensated dating, but it's also like it's usually involves sex.
Sure,
right?
sure.
It's prostitution, you know. And like I forget what the term is. They have an acronym. It's JK. I forget what it stands for. I think it's Josie Kose, which I think is high school girl. Like that's what it is.
So this is like explicitly that age range then.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes. And so it's a big problem, especially in urban areas of Japan. But it's sort of like an accepted part of the culture. It's illegal, but it's, you know, it's part of what's going on. So it's like, is this going to address, like, these in the show, these are college kids. This is all above board, but like they don't really address, you know, the big kind of issues of what would, you know, the reality of it.
Yeah, I guess they make it different by having the two characters be the same age, right?
Yes. It's further complicated. I think one of the characters actually is in high school now that I remember.
Oh.
One of the girlfriends is in high school.
Huh.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known about this whole like real world context that this is coming out of.
Yeah. So it's like you're gonna have this series that kind of mirrors what happens in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's a similar system. You know, I doubt there's an app for it, right? You know,
sure.
That's like in the show, it's kind of treated like, you know, any kind of gig work, like Uber or whatever, star ratings and everything else. But you don't sort of address the inherent deep ethical issues and you know, major problems that actually go on. Instead, you focus on a dude that is just constantly fucking up and crying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead, and making things difficult for the girl that he supposedly is in love with.
Sure.
And just constantly fucking up, and is like the focus of the show entirely. Whenever everyone around him is much more interesting. And yet he still finds a way to like come out on top, just because I guess he's kind of earnest.
Question mark.
So yeah.
Huh.
It's kind of Rent a Girlfriend.
Okay. I was like, "Ooh, I'm intrigued at the start," but then the more context you gave, I'm like, "Huh."
That's kind of how it goes. That's kind of my experience with it. It's like, okay, this is a premise. Let's see what you do with this. And yeah.
That's interesting because, like, as far as I understand, like, speaking broadly, legalization of sex work leads to, broadly speaking, safer sex work, right? Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, but with what you're saying and the age factor and all that, that's a messier thing there.
Yeah.
So, huh.
And I'm not an expert. I just know very broadly that this is like something that goes on in Japan, and some of these terms, right? Like I read, like this has been going on for a very long time. Like I think I read it, like an archived New York Times article from like 2002.
Oh wow, okay.
Where this was going on. So this is not like a new phenomenon, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's something that the creators of the show must be aware of.
Oh, completely. Yeah. No. This is definitely a thing. I've seen other media where like a girl got bullied because she got wrapped up in compensated dating, and it got found out and things like that, and shit like that, right? So it's a part of the society. Like people know about it, you know. And so to have a show where like you have a society that it like is aware of this and is accepted of this, and like it's legalized and above board, you know, and it's stigmatized a little bit, right? Because, you know, yeah, it would be. But you don't address the issues and, you know, the complications that arise. I don't know. Feels like you could do more with that.
Sounds like it. So I guess like you're saying, it's more the focus is more on like the internal like feelings of the characters rather than like the structural, like the systemic part of it.
Yeah, and I feel like you can definitely strike a balance.
You can do both. Yeah.
Yeah. So
all right. Is there going to be more of that, or is it like a one and done thing?
there's been 2 seasons. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more.
Okay.
Just based off of how the season ended. Like it sets up sort of a new arc for the characters. So yeah, I'd imagine there's going to be more.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got one more. I'll keep this short. Classroom of the Elite, 2nd season came after 4 or 5 years from the 1st season. It's got the best straight man in anime.
Yeah, this was a hell of a way to to promote it here. I didn't know what to make of this.
The main character of this show is like if Nathan Fielder's Nathan in the rehearsal was like a high school anime sociopath.
Wait, so the best straight man in anime is also a sociopath?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes. The dude has one face, okay? One face, and he makes it for every situation. He shows no emotion ever. He is monotone, he is dry, he has one complete tone in his voice, and he uses it for everything. And it's amazing. He is like this Machiavellian, scheming mastermind that comes up with these twisted schemes that you don't even, you aren't even privy to until they're unveiled, similar to, the rehearsal, right? Where he'll just see and so that's why I came up with a mirror to show the advanced age, like shit like that,
right?
Where there's just like this sudden reveal. Similar thing happens here where it's like, yes, so I already went ahead and I told this guy that I was going to do this and that and that. And then it's like, oh shit, how did you already do this and foil this other dude's plan?
That's cool.
Yeah. So, the basic premise of the show is that there's this academy of, it's very prestigious and hard to get into. But there's a class ranking system, A through D, and A is the most, advanced students or whatever. And D is sort of the degenerates and like the most, eccentric kind of people. It's a little Danganronpa, but it's not as outlandish, and so there's a point system. You get individual points and class points. Your individual points can be used to spend on, amenities in the school and your food and everything else. And it's treated like cash. And then you have class points, and your class points are how you can advance to like your entire class to the other levels. And so you're competing with the other classes as well as sort of trying to get individual points so you can fucking live on campus is the thing. And it's also incredibly easy to get expelled. If you fail any exam, you're expelled, and shit like that. And there's frequently these exams and tests that aren't really tests. They're I don't know, fucking survivor challenges.
Wow.
Basically.
Sounds stressful.
at the end of the 1st season, they're on an island. They're always put into teams and shit. It's sort of like if Big Brother was Danganronpa. Okay. In a way.
I'm sold.
Yeah. You would. This is a really good show. You would like this show.
Okay.
And so yeah. So the main character is this stoic Nathan Fielder mastermind who's puppeteering everybody behind the scenes. And yeah, it's just really good. It's just to see the kind of shit that he could pull and manipulate people into doing whatever the fuck he wants them to do while he just sits there with this blank fucking face as they just say the weirdest shit to him. And he's just okay.
Yeah, it sounds like I might have to give this one a look.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one.
It sounds like if Nathan Fielder lacked any sort of empathy.
Pretty much. Yeah. So that's the anime I've been watching.
Cool.
A lot of weird shit, and then Classroom of the Elite, which is good.
Nice.
And then I added this last minute. I don't even know if I want to do this. This is kind of a partial Soul Hackers check-in and partial rant. I've been going on a lot of rants today, but that's kind of the mood I'm in. So since raiding has sort of calmed down, we've cleared some fights. We're actually on a bye week this week. I've had the opportunity to play a lot more Soul Hackers, and I've made some good progress. And I'm having a really good time. It's a good game. I think it's definitely being overlooked by a lot of people, especially SMT fans, which is weird. It's especially weird. And I saw some discourse online about it, and this was kind of spurred on by the dude that was going to translate Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, but then was scooped. That guy,
right?
He was saying he made a tweet that I think was meant to be sort of tongue in cheek, saying that what do Persona 2 Eternal Punishment and Soul Hackers have in common and it was that they both have an adult cast and they both didn't sell very well. And then there are lots of people in his replies and quote tweets taking that very literally, saying, that's not why they didn't sell well, blah, 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 you know, when I just think he was trying to highlight the fact that these are two games that have adult casts, and a lot of SMT and Persona especially doesn't have adult casts, and that he was just trying to highlight that he enjoys having an adult cast.
Yeah, so people took it to mean like cause and effect there.
Yeah. And so it was a lot of people saying, "Oh, correlation does not equal causation."
Right.
It's like, he was just, you know, sort of just making a comment. He wasn't literally saying this didn't sell well because it has adult cast. That was not the point. So this was like, I was reading just more of these replies. And I'm like, SMT fans are some of the dumbest motherfuckers. How are you people? How do they enjoy some of these games that are like some of the like deepest texts like I have ever like experienced? Like how do we have anything in common? Like what are you people getting out of these games? Like how do you guys even turn on your consoles? Like this is how dumb you look. And how are you understanding any of the themes of these games?
I don't know. I mean, like, I can see how people
could
could interpret that post as him taking a shot at the decision to have the adult cast.
Yeah, okay, fine. But then it was also a lot of people, like, I saw one comment that was like, maybe because it got horrific reviews. And then they linked its aggregate scores from like Metacritic and some of the other aggregate things.
Yeah.
And the scores for Soul Hackers are in the 70s.
It's pretty middling to decent, especially for a niche game,
Yeah,
right?
that's I'm like, those are good scores.
Yeah.
For a JRPG?
Mm-hmm.
Those are good scores. And I forget what the adjective that person used. It was like horrendous or dreadful, you know, something extreme like that. That you would like 70s?
Yeah, that's fine.
What?
And I imagine there weren't, like, as an aggregate score, there weren't as many reviews out there to begin with compared to something like a AAA, like, you know, big release that every site is covering.
Of course. These are like from RPG site and JRPG dot whatever, you know, like sites like that.
Yeah.
To begin with. Who are going to be more critical to be like, you know, for starters, because that's the genre that they focus on. And also like those are good scores.
Yeah.
And like I saw all this shit after I just got off of like a 4-hour session of the game where I was getting quite deep. And in my initial impressions, we talked a little bit about the combat of Soul Hackers and how it's fairly basic, especially compared to other SMT games. And I think the game does itself a disservice. Like, so I talked about how the game basically gets you going immediately into the story, right?
Yes.
There's no long preamble. You're sort of into it immediately. But now that I'm about 25 hours in, and that's extended by me doing a lot of side quests. The combat is now getting quite advanced, but it's taken until this point for it to get there, which is quite strange, especially for an SMT, to have that long of a tail on its combat for it to sort of beef up the mechanics in that way. Yeah. So what happens is you start getting commander skills, which are skills the main character Ringo can use, but they can sort of be activated whenever it's anybody's turn in the party, as long as Ringo isn't incapacitated in some way, if there's not a status effect or if Ringo's not dead. And this is thankfully a JRPG where if the main character's down, it's not an actual wipe, which games that do that are actually really stupid. And SMT games and Persona games included. I don't like when that happens. That's really dumb.
It's like, what are their lives tethered to this person or something?
Right. Yeah. It's like, well, come on. I have items and shit that other players can use. Why does it matter if just the main character dies? Like, I hate that. Anyway, so like these commander skills greatly change what happens in battle. I've just got one that can randomly activate and give Ringo additional turns. So now it starts to feel like press turn a little bit. I have additional turns now. And this is something that enemies can do. And this is something that I know I'm going to get into the weeds. I'm talking about deep mechanics of an SMT game. I know nobody gives a fuck. But so something that I really don't like when SMT does, and I've mentioned this before, is that the best part of SMT is the fact that you can do everything that the enemy can do, and the enemy can do everything that you can do.
Yeah.
It is fair and balanced. It is a battle between the mechanics. It's I don't want to say it, but it's kind of like chess, right? It is this perfect symmetry. It's tactical in that way. You need to use the mechanics to your advantage.
Any
they
anal
can hit your
beads?
weaknesses sometimes.
Okay.
There is items called beads in the game.
There we go. You have the resources. Just do with them what you will.
Exactly. It's really funny. There's an item called bead chain. It's
there. It's there. Yeah.
It's there.
You have to reach 40 hours into the game before you can actually fully utilize the bead chain the way it was intended. That's the scaling of the complexity of Soul Hackers. It's really cool.
But you can hit their weaknesses, they can hit your weaknesses, and that's the struggle of it. That's what works.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever the scale is tipped in either way, it feels off. It feels wrong. And whenever they do that, I don't like it. And even the best games, whenever they do this, I don't like it. In Nocturne, which I think is the pinnacle of press turn design, they throw fucking Beast Eye and Dragon Eye at you, which is abilities where the enemy can just decide to give itself more turns. And it's bullshit, and it doesn't work, and it just inflates the difficulty unnecessarily. It's something that you yourself can't do, and it's unfair. And so in Soul Hackers, I started running up against enemies that could use Beast Eye. And it's like, well, fuck, this sucks. They can use Beast Eye in a non-press turn game. I can't give myself additional turns by hitting weaknesses or hitting critical hits.
It's very rude of them.
It is. It sucks. But now I have a commander skill that can randomly proc and give me additional turns. Now we have some balance. Now we're working with shit. Let's see where this goes. Now we're having fun. And so there are different commander skills like that are like making the battles more dynamic than just going one by one and exchanging turns. But it takes so long to get there, and I don't know why. Like these are skills that are locked behind story progression. It's not like you can grind up items and materials and buy them outright. The shop doesn't get them until you progress into the story.
I see.
So they're locked behind they're literally time gated. And it's really strange that they made that decision. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I think it is a rare JRPG where I have not run into an annoying character yet.
Ooh.
I have not run into a single annoying character. Like the characterization is really good. The story of your main party, like you're finding out more about them as you go into their, I forget what it's called, their soul dungeons or whatever the fuck it is. Like you're learning more about them as you're going through the main story. The biggest complaint I have with one of them is that they're just one of them's kind of boring, and I'd rather have boring than annoying every day.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. And it's actually funny because it came out not long after release from the developers when they were doing an interview about the game, that character was actually going to be the original protagonist.
Oh.
Instead of Ringo. And it's like, oh, okay. That kind of makes sense. If they were going to be like the silent protagonist, of a game, and then were suddenly shifted to be a party member, for them to be a little flat makes sense.
Well, does the game have a silent protagonist now?
No.
Oh.
No, it doesn't. Ringo is fully voiced. And she might be one of my favorite characters in SMT.
Cool.
She is so fucking cool. The voice actress that handles her voice is amazing. I just love like the way that her tone on certain things, her sarcasm is like not overdone. It's like very wry. It's really stellar.
And that's the English voice. Okay.
English voice. Yep. Yeah, like the writing on this. Like it's really sharp. It's really good. It's not overdone like a lot of JRPGs and even Persona games get. This is not a game where like it's constantly like I feel like I'm being treated like an adult in this game. Like this is not a game where it's like constantly kind of repeating information that you already had, which is a problem.
I've encountered that, yeah, with how relatively little of Persona I've played.
5 had a big problem with this. I assume they did it because of the length, where they would sort of just like, okay, maybe somebody forgot what was going on. We have to kind of remind them of shit. This game treats you like an adult. It really does. These feel like adult characters in adult situations. And that's not to say that it's, vulgar or crass. It just means like they feel like adults, and it's refreshing. I really like it. I really think it's good. And I think a lot of people are missing out if they're writing this game off. I saw another really stupid comment that said that, this is just another SMT game with the same rehashed demon models. I'm like, what are you talking about? These are brand new models. That's just flat out fucking wrong. These are brand new models. We haven't seen these before. These are new, like, cyberpunk versions. These are cell-shaded versions that we have not seen before. The demon cast is a little smaller because these are these are brand new models.
Huh.
You can tell. So, just the stupidest motherfuckers. Like, why are you fans of these games?
Well, regardless of the fan base, there's always people that like to complain.
Truly. And, it's a shame. It's a shame that this game didn't sell as well. I think Atlas makes some weird decisions. I fucking love their games, but they make some weird-ass decisions. The fact that they sort of sandbagged this game by releasing it and then immediately announcing the Persona,
Yes.
ports, like immediately after this came out, just like completely sandbagged this
Yeah, because
game.
this was kind of in a good place in late August where there really weren't any high profile JRPGs coming out. And they did it to themselves, huh?
Yeah. I think something was up with that announcement with Microsoft.
Yeah,
I really
think your theory from last week holds up. I think that makes a lot of sense given the timeline and everything.
Yeah, but they really did this game a disservice. It's a good fucking game.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna pick it up when it goes on sale, and I only mean on sale because I just probably wouldn't be playing it at the moment anyway.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I really do think people are missing out by not playing this one. Even if you don't like these games, like I said, you get in immediately. There's no slow burn like a Persona where you gotta acclimate or whatever. You're into it immediately. You're immediately into the story. And I'm intrigued by the story. There are more ties to the original Soul Hackers, which I kind of was confused about before. Like, why is it Soul Hackers 2? That whole deal. I still don't think they should have called it Soul Hackers 2.
But there's more justification for it.
There's yes. I still think they should have called it Soul Hackers : something. I think that really didn't help, but it's a good fucking game.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah. We have so much.
Yeah, there's
here.
a lot. We're almost at the 2 hour mark.
I should not have done all that anime.
No, it was informative. It was good.
Okay. Let's do a beautiful cinema.
That's beautiful cinema.
Yes, it is.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we've taken this segment to sort of encompass all of film and TV and everything like that. So I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the end of Big Brother 24.
The height
of cinema. It's definitely the height of reality TV, in my opinion. So if you recall, early in the summer, I filled you in on the start of the Big Brother season and how it was off to a very frustrating and infuriating start with the treatment of one of the house guests, Taylor Hale. She came into the house and was immediately, and for no legitimate reason, alienated and bullied, and people were talking shit behind her back constantly. And she did nothing. Like, there was no basis for any of it, aside from a lot of people would say there was colorism at play. So fast forward to the end of the season, and the winner of Big Brother 24 is Taylor Hale.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Not only that, but she is the first Black woman to win in the show's history.
Wow.
Yeah, monumental night. It couldn't have ended any better. It was quite a journey of a season, and Taylor was absolutely the one who saved the season, without a doubt. So, man, there's so many aspects of this. One of the things, like, if we didn't run into copyright issues in the past when we tried to play a Big Brother clip, I absolutely would have clipped her final speech that she gave before the jury voted for a winner, because let me tell you, it is the greatest final two speech in the show's history. It was just an absolute banger of a speech. She knocked it out of the park. But what what she did was she directly addressed a lot of the obstacles that she had to overcome throughout the season. So it started with that bullying and that bias and hatred towards her. Something I didn't talk about, but was a big issue about halfway through the season, was there was this one house guest named Kyle, who was really well positioned in the game. He was in with like the big alliance. He was making a lot of moves. He was very successful, scheming and whatnot. But he, early on in the season, got paranoid and let his biases feed into his gameplay. So I think I told you about the cookout last year, how it was a group of all of the black house guests came into the house with a knowledge that there had never been a black winner in the 20 plus years of Big Brother. And so they had this mission, and they formed an alliance called the Cookout, where they came together and they had each other's back, and they ensured by working together that they would get to the end together and then, duke it out from there. And they guaranteed a black winner, right? Which is what happened. Yeah. So Kyle, fast forward to this season, was looking at the house guests of color in the house and was so worried that there would be like a cookout 2.0. And I believe he used that exact phrase, that he tried to rally a group on his side consisting of all white house guests to combat this completely made up cookout 2.0. Yeah. Okay. And I should say, like, the people that he grouped together that he thought were working together, he just could not have been more wrong. Some of the house guests he had grouped up were like really bitter enemies. Like, it truly...
Well, because he racially
profiled them and grouped them together. And not only that, but he tried to act upon it by gathering a like counter alliance. So that was really bad. And to add to it, the two of the house guests, the other white house guests that he pitched this to, were against it. Okay. They were never on board with it.
Sure.
However, and they made sort of half-hearted attempts to like talk him in a different direction, privately. Right. The problem is they never informed anybody else of what this guy was scheming until it was beneficial for their games to do so. So eventually all of this came to light when they revealed it, and it was beneficial for them, and Kyle was nominated and evicted. Okay. But, they should have done it right away. So that left a bad taste. And so the whole point here, and by the way, the TV show spent like so much screen time on Kyle and how he is learning from his experience. And look, this is a 30-year-old dude, and they were treating him like a baby who had no idea what racism is. It was truly sickening, the amount of screen time they gave him. It was so great because he got to the jury house, and one of the women, when they learned about his whole plan, they were like, Google exists, right? Like, we don't have to sit here and teach you about racism because you can just look it up yourself. Which was wonderful. But
I didn't think trying to segregate all the colored people would be Was that so wrong? Was that so bad?
Truly just bonkers shit. And I'm angry at the show for giving him that much time and attention. And
I want to create a club of all whites.
Yeah, like it
some sort of clan.
God damn it. It sucked so hard that they gave him so much time. I was very annoyed with that. But the point that I'm getting back to, and here I am spending time talking about it, but the greater point here is that Taylor was part of the people targeted in this made up, for being in this made up alliance. So just obstacle after obstacle, the bashing of her behind her back never stopped throughout the entire season. From one person or another, there was always because I listened to the daily live feed updates, right, where they give you like the granular, all the stuff that's going on, and every day they had to cover the Taylor bashing because it just never ended. So needless to say, her trajectory to the end of this game was, from week one, like it looked impossible from the disadvantage sheet that was placed on her for no reason from the beginning, and then all the stuff she had to contend with along the way, and then for her to end up winning the game with a nearly unanimous vote was just so wonderful. And on top of that, she's the first ever person to win the game and to win America's favorite. Yes, so really? Every year there's a vote, and you can vote for any house guest you want to be America's favorite, and they win like a cash prize. And never has it lined up where the winner of Big Brother has also won America's Favorite until now.
That's surprising.
Not really, because like people like the underdog, and usually the underdog doesn't win. In Big Brother,
but still, it's been however many fucking years.
It's true, yeah. So so she won a cool 800,000 between those two prizes, plus whatever you get for just being on the show. Now, do I wish that she didn't endure all of this and that her win was that of just like playing Great Big Brother and not having to put up with all the bullshit?
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we can call it reparations.
Oh my God. No. No, it's not. It's truly.
I know. She
absolutely earned it.
I
but like, yeah, it was a really amazing moment for the fan base and for the show from like a historical standpoint of the show. Like, obviously, this is way overdue. Having the first Black woman to win. Women in general, there's been a string of mostly male winners for a while now. So that was great to see. She was underestimated to the very end. So the way that the final three works in Big Brother is that there's a competition and the winner of the competition gets to choose who they take with them to the final two chairs. And so Taylor did not win this competition, but the person that did thought that he would have a better chance winning against Taylor than he would have against the other person that he could have taken. And he was very mistaken because Taylor won, like I said, 8-1. It would have been 9-0, but there was a weird circumstance where the one person didn't. The one vote that she didn't get was someone who wasn't part of the jury for very long and didn't really have the full context. If that guy had taken the other person, he probably would have won the game. He almost certainly would have won the game. So that just goes to show how underestimated Taylor was until the very end. But yeah, from just like a social standpoint, like Big Brother, so much of what I love about it is the fact that it's a social game above anything else. But in recent years, especially as the competitions become more and more physical, people have been winning because of their like competition resumes and how well they do like physically. And like, that's just not what I care for when it comes to Big Brother, but it's what tends to dominate.
Sure.
And so Taylor winning is such a status quo shift, a paradigm shift in what it means to win Big Brother as well. Because she was such a great social player and that's rewarded here. And that's what I love to see so much and just haven't seen for so long. So yeah, just all around fantastic end to a very troubled season of Big Brother. And, one that I hope has lasting impact on the show and how people think about it, both inside the house and outside of the house. The one downside, the one little blip on the finale. So Julie read out so when she was revealing America's Favorite, she always reads out the top 3 vote getters. And so she read the top 3 and obviously Taylor, it's this other person and it's Kyle, which is rough. And there's all sorts of implications on why people would vote for him, which you don't love to see. But, that's the country we live in. But anyway, the bottom line is Taylor Hale, fantastic. The greatest winner in Big Brother history. The greatest like story in Big Brother history. I wish she didn't have to endure what she did, but you know what? She wins in the end. So yeah.
Nice. And so you got some plans for a Horror Harvest. I think last time we started earlier. We're a little behind on the, on the 8 ball.
We made it like a 2-month thing.
We did.
I don't know. I thought if you were interested, we could since we're getting into the Halloween season, we could spend a few weeks covering some horror movies.
Yeah.
If you want to do like we did with Irma Vep, like a separate, shorter recording to kind of come out alongside the main show.
Yeah, I think that's not bad. I was looking at the analytics for the Irma Vep. So what's interesting is that not a lot of podcast downloads, not a lot of YouTube views. but the YouTube views were quite long. So anybody that was interested in the Irma
was
Vep
there
thing,
for the long haul.
watched a lot of it or listened to a lot of it. Yeah. So I thought that was
I hope
pretty
somebody
interesting.
got something out of that because you were right that it was very disjointed and all over the place.
It was. Yeah. So we have to keep in mind that we need to be a bit more focused whenever we so yeah, I think a separate little mini pod would be a good idea. did you have a first?
I was
pick?
thinking we could kick it off with Cronenberg's Crimes of the Future, which I haven't seen yet and have wanted to. And I know that you've been interested as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that
Cool.
sounds good.
By the way, Criterion Channel in October, unbelievable lineup of horror stuff.
Yeah, I saw they got like a bunch of
That's
80s
like the tip
horror movies
of the ice. Well, that's a big thing on its own, but they have like so many collections. The one of them that I'm like really excited for is they have a whole collection of horror shorts that I imagine are quite hard to, like before now would have been quite hard to just like find, you know, before they were all curated and put on a streaming service. So, but yeah, so I remember last year or maybe 2 years ago, they had a really terrific 70s horror collection, just really varied and covered a lot of great movies from that era. So yeah, they're moving into the 80s now. But then they also have like a vampire collection and like a Universal one and like all sorts of stuff coming. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
But
cool.
Yeah, so Crimes of the Future for next week.
All right. Yeah, we'll do a separate pod. You'll find it on the feed and over on YouTube. We're going long, but I do want to hit a couple things here. I did mention some podcast analytics, and I saw this week. So I want to talk about what we're up against as complete unknowns that nobody listens to. So the biggest podcast companies are cooking the books on their podcast statistics. They are basically hyperinflating the number of downloads and listens that they get. And they're doing it by auto-playing episodes in free mobile games.
Whoa.
So this is iHeartRadio is the main suspect here. And so they just pay mobile games to insert auto-playing podcasts in mobile games. And if you listen to 30 seconds or however long, 20 seconds, you get free gems or coins or whatever the fuck you need in the game. And they count as a download in IAB, which is the standard podcast advertising metric, because they rely on a download and a listen of 1 minute, like a 1 minute of content being downloaded, whether that's a stream like cache or a full download. And so you don't even need to listen to like a full minute as long as the app or whatever downloads that minute, it counts. So yeah, this is really really rough. And it's very similar to what was going on with the pivot to video Facebook bullshit where the numbers were super hyperinflated. And what this means is that iHeartRadio and all these other companies are using these metrics to sell advertising. And once the advertisers know about this, they're going to flip shit. They're going to pull their advertisements and they're not going to trust podcasts anymore. Right.
Because like they're advertising to non-existent people.
Right. And so there's been like a podcast bubble, right? You know, everybody's got a fucking podcast. And it's like iHeartRadio and whatever, like they're promoting like those big celebrity podcasts. You know, every celebrity's got a podcast now. After celebrities realized that it was a viable medium,
and they were stuck at home during COVID,
and you know their PA bought them a Shure SMB microphone, and so the bubble's gonna burst. It's basically what I'm saying. The bubble is going to burst, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next.
Well, we here we count our listener numbers accurately, so we have that going.
We definitely do. I actually use 2 different like tracking services to see. Like I cross-reference.
Look at that.
Numbers.
That's thorough right there.
So I actually accurately check the small amount of downloads we get. So, sponsors, if you're listening, my numbers are fucking accurate.
We're the number one place for Irma Vep content on the internet. That's probably not even true. We got it. That's definitely not true.
We might be top 5.
That's how many people actually saw the show. So it's fine.
Right, exactly. What else did I want to hit? So I just want to talk about this briefly. So Amazon is releasing a new Kindle for the first time since the Oasis.
Like a brand new like type of model?
A brand new model. Yeah. So it's called the Kindle Scribe. And it is they call it the quote, first Kindle for reading and writing. It comes with a stylus. It's a 10.2 inch screen.
It's a big boy.
It's a big one. Yep. And it's got a similar design to the Oasis, where it's got like sort of the edge for you to hold, so it's like the asymmetrical design. And And this is interesting to me because I am big into the e-ink writing tablets.
Yes, that's right. The previously very niche type of device.
Yeah, and so I have a Remarkable 2. I had a Remarkable 1, which I have a review of over on DeadEndRoad.co if anybody's curious. I was actually going to review the Remarkable 2, but just the writing experience is so similar to the Remarkable 1. And
you just didn't have anything to remark upon.
Basically, and I also didn't like some of the business decisions they were making with their cloud services that I didn't really want to get into. So it just didn't seem worth it to review it and sort of rehash the writing experience. And there have been lots of other sort of like Remarkable is a startup, you know, and there have been other companies that have gotten involved in this space. Like another popular one is the Chinese company Boox. It's Boox. They make a wide variety of tablets, like in different screen sizes with writing capabilities that run Android. But it's a very niche space, and these tablets are quite expensive. They can get up to like $900. Like they can
Kobo
really get
doesn't
up there.
make one, do they? Because aren't they like Amazon's closest competitor in the e-reader world?
I think Kobo did. I don't think theirs was very good. And I don't think it was supported for very long. And I think it was mostly just I think theirs was used mostly for highlighting books. Yeah, the Ellipsa. Theirs was very similar. Again, it's that like asymmetrical design, the handheld, you know, the handhold, and the stylus. But yeah, I think theirs is just. It does say document. But yeah, back to
Why
this
does
Kindle
the name
one.
Scribe sound like if somebody's using it in like an ancient man is using it in the 1800s?
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe. Yeah, so you're inscribing on your, you know. I'm curious about this because this is now the biggest player in e-readers entering this writable e-ink tablet space. And I was immediately curious. I was like, okay, is this just for making notes in Kindle books? Like how deep does the functionality go? And they say you can write on documents. And then I look at the list of documents that are supported. Where did it go? Kindle, you know, text, PDF, Mobi, PDF, docx, doc, HTML, and then EPUB, which is very interesting. Now, if people aren't aware, which they won't be, why would they be? Previously, Kindle only supported Kindle format books, which are a file format called, now, they used to be KFX, now they're called AZW3. And then Mobi files, which are another type of more open ebook files. They never supported EPUBs, which are usually considered the most open
it's
ebook
what you'll
file
get
type.
from like libraries and like publishers.
It's what you'll get from the library, Barnes and Noble, Google Play Books. Usually they have DRM. There are methods to strip DRM. I have an article about that on DeadEndRoad.co. If you're curious,
I remember.
DRM
what was the name of the
ebooks.
software that you would convert? I always used to convert.
You can use it in
Calibre
or
right.
Calibre, however you want to say it. So there's methods to strip your DRM because you own your fucking books.
Mm-hmm.
You own them. DRM is bullshit. But this is very interesting that Kindle is now supporting EPUB for the first time.
Because that's like an opening of their ecosystem.
Yes. The other weird thing though is that it's like, okay, well, how are you getting your documents here? How are you doing this? It syncs with the Kindle app only, it seems. So I don't know how useful this actually is.
Now I'm trying to remember if the Kindle app itself ever supported EPUB.
No, it didn't even support sideloading.
No? Why do I feel like
No,
I feel like it did. The Kindle app.
The app was very closed.
I somewhat remember having the app on my phone and sideloading books onto it. Maybe I'm wrong.
You could open up library files if you used the Kindle link.
You know what? Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, you couldn't like import a Mobi file into the Kindle app.
Or I was just converting them. I forgot the fact that I was converting them using Calibre.
Yeah. So this is still very interesting that they're now entering this space, but it still seems very closed. And I don't know if I would trust Amazon with my documents. Like the way Remarkable works is that they have their own app which syncs documents from your computer. You just put in your PDFs, EPUBs, documents that way. And they just recently introduced like Google Drive sync, and you can just kind of do it that way too. But yeah, this is the method of like locking down documents is quite strange. I would be curious to see how well their digitizer works and how well the handwriting functionality works, especially because they're making it clear that it says they mention all over the place that this is a paperwhite display. But so how, like, where's the digitizer layer?
Right.
So I'm very interested in this. I'd love to review it, but I can't afford to spend the money.
Does Amazon do that thing where it's like if you have a website, they'll send you? Might be worth
maybe. I could try. I tried to do that with books. I reached out to them. I was like, hey, I've reviewed some of these tablets before, and like I linked to them, and I was like, if I'd love to get it because they were just releasing some new units, and I was like, I'd love to review some of your new readers, but they never got back to me. But yeah, this is quite interesting, and it is the first new model since the Oasis. It's been a very long time since they released a new model.
That innovation with that was that it has speakers, right? Was that the big thing?
No, it had Bluetooth, but now I think most of their new readers do. The innovation with that was that it was a larger screen, and it had the buttons on the side, like it was the hands. It was the asymmetrical design where you could hold it on the side.
Do they have one that has speakers for audiobooks?
I don't believe so. I think they're all Bluetooth. So you have to connect either a speaker or headphones. I'm actually looking here at the breakdown. It says audible via Bluetooth. And it's literally all their Kindles now have Bluetooth.
That's cool. Yeah, because audiobooks for me have become such a big part of my reading now. Not quite equal to just regular reading, but I do a lot of it.
Yeah. What's curious about this one too is that it has a similar design where it's got the asymmetrical, hold it on the side to the Oasis, but it doesn't have the page turn buttons.
Yeah, a lot of people like those.
I love them. I think that's a mistake. The problem is that like this would not replace my Oasis because it's too big. It's too big for reading.
Yeah, maybe like if it was one of those color e-ink ones and you could read comic books, that would be a nice size for it. But
yeah, too big for reading, and I think too small for writing. Or no, 10-inch. I think that's the same as Remarkable. It just looks smaller. I don't know why it looks smaller. But yeah, it starts at, let's see, 369. Oh, wait, it starts at 340, but that's only 16 gig. And that's with the basic pen. It looks like this premium pen adds another $20.
Well, at least it's not like 100 like Apple.
And what's the difference with the pens? Let me see. Oh, the top of the premium pen acts as an eraser. Okay. I don't find that useful.
Can't you just, I don't know.
You can hit the tool and then you just erase. Yeah, I don't find that useful.
I thought maybe it would be like a Samsung thing where it has like, how their pens have like special, like, they interact with the screen where like pressure sensitive, you know what I'm saying? Like how they have like, the pen actually reacts to how much pressure you're putting on the screen and it acts like a real pen that way.
Yeah. That's what it does on the Remarkable. There's tilt and pressure sensitivity. It doesn't say that this has pressure sensitivity or anything. So yeah, I don't know how good the writing experience would be on this. I'd be very curious to know. But yeah, I doubt anybody really is interested in that. But I'd find this very fascinating as like the biggest ebook player making this kind of jump into productivity.
Yeah,
a little
it's a
bit.
step. Yeah.
This is what I really want to talk about. The biggest thing though is that it's backlit,
like the Paperwhite is.
And like the Paperwhite, the Oasis. I think all their Kindles
probably
are
probably
now,
even the base model has that capability now. Yeah.
Yep, they all are. Or I guess they're not technically backlit. They're like front lit with the but you know what I mean. They have lighting. It's just the amount of LEDs depending on the model. But the Remarkable is not. That is the biggest gripe I have.
Yeah, that really limits your, the flexibility with where and when you can use it.
Yeah, but the trade-off is that it's super fucking thin. It's like the thinnest device I have. But yeah, this has a light. But yeah, I think it's really interesting. We'll see. Maybe I can try to get a review unit.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Pretty cool.
I'm interested to see what it's like. I actually there's this YouTube channel that does nothing but review and talk about e-readers, which I check out from time to time.
Yeah, there's one that does all the like tablet ones that I follow. It's quite a small channel.
It really
is.
Such
a niche thing.
It's about as big as you would expect given the subject.
Yeah. It's it's such a small like community, and it's part of why these devices are so expensive. Is because like the user base is so small. And that's why it makes it fucking difficult to review them. They're so fucking expensive.
But if you can get a review up, that's, there are less out there than there would be reviews for other products. So it's, there's a positives and negatives there.
Yes. My remarkable review did so well for me. Oh my God.
By the way, just quickly, remember when I was talking about how I was getting into audiobooks because my brain broke or something? I saw an Atlantic story a couple weeks ago, and I think I might have a term for what I was talking about. And I do still experience from time to time. I think it might be a fairly mild version of like brain fog, which in the Atlantic story was used in the context of like, this is like a symptom of long COVID.
Yeah.
But to my knowledge, I haven't had COVID. I mean, I could have had it and just didn't test at the time or whatever, but I've never had like the COVID symptoms or anything.
So like what are you experiencing like specifically when you think it's
it's fog? Just sort of like a fog is a good analogy, like a way of just like this makes it harder to like concentrate on whatever's in front of you. In my case, it's usually reading,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like that's also like I know that it's being discussed a lot with like COVID and long COVID and like lingering effects of pandemic, and even people that haven't had COVID, but just like the adjustment to our fucking daily lives and what's been going on. But I feel like it's all, like TikTok. Also a symptom of
anxiety.
Like,
I thought you were going to say TikTok. Well, no, that too. Yeah.
Because I feel like whenever I read about my mental shit, like even years and years past, it would like mention sort of like brain fog and like hard to focus and lack of concentration and shit like that. So, I don't necessarily think you have long COVID.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's probably related to something else.
Yeah,
you're saying.
Yeah, but that is interesting that you can maybe put like a name on.
I mean, some of the stuff in this Atlantic story was flat. Like the stories from people, flat out like debilitating, and I'm nowhere near that. Like life altering, like preventing them from doing just daily tasks that they always had no issue, stuff like that. But it could be a mild version of it, but I don't know. I just wanted to mention it because I know I talked about it somewhat. I didn't have the words for it last time. Like I was struggling to, and I still kind of am, to describe it, but that is a possibility.
Yeah.
It's less frequent now than it was then. So.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, putting a label on something that you're experiencing that may or may not be the thing, and just trying to reason or like come up with logic for what you're going through. So many symptoms can be symptoms for one thing or for something else. And I was following this person on TikTok who has just an extreme case of, I think it's called parosmia, the one where everything you eat just tastes like actual like sewage. And like, it was a form from her, it was COVID related. And just like over the months, just seeing updates that she was giving, just like the physical and mental toll that took, and like all the doctors that really had no concrete answer for it. Really insane. Just like completely debilitating thing that just like ruined her life, basically, like her ability to function. That one I can't imagine going through it's just brutal. Like my sister, like she lost her sense of smell, and then it slowly came back. And it wasn't the same. And she still can't smell even certain things. Wow. And then her taste like changed to a certain degree. Like she now likes things that she hated before. Yeah. Like she now eats pepperoni, and she hated pepperoni. Hated it. She now likes things that I like, that she hated growing up and as a kid, and like even into adultholike pepperoni.
Wasn't thrilled about, but actively just avoided and hated.
Actively avoided, did not eat.
So weird.
Would not touch. And like now mustard, she like now eats mustard, and she never would use mustard. Just weird shit like that.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about all the unknown long-term, potentially permanent effects of COVID that people aren't really considering.
It's fucking crazy.
We have
to stop. We have to stop. Thank you so much for sticking it out with us. I don't know what's gonna remain in the show or what didn't. Whatever. Really do appreciate it. I just have a couple notes here. Mentioned it earlier, but check out the VOD of last week's live show. It was a good time. I got some good feedback on it. It was apparently fun, so that's good. It's up on YouTube and also on video.deadendroad.co. Boy, does that eat up my bandwidth. Holy shit. Another note, I started a Ko-fi page or coffee. I don't know how you're supposed to say that. if anyone feels like throwing $1 our way. I'm not going to be like that dude. Remember that old podcast video we watched like early on when we started doing this about the two dudes like talking about their Patreon for podcasts no one listens to?
Yes.
But yeah, I'm not going to be like annoying about talking about it. But it's there. If you think that you enjoyed some of this and you feel like it's worth $1, you can just throw $1 there. Because I made a lot of jokes lately about Ian not getting paid for being here. So, hey.
Yeah, I mean, I always look at it as a hobby, you know?
Right. We're doing this for fun. But I also have a thing where like, something's wrong with me where like I need to constantly improve.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Things. But unfortunately, like a lot of times that fucking costs money.
Yeah.
So, like I'm now putting the uncut videos on the website, but at a certain point I will run out of data. So then my hosting costs will go up. And so just shit like that. And, I buy a lot of equipment. I don't really need anything right now, but if there comes a time where like, we really want to pivot to video, and cameras will be a thing, right? Like getting a webcam, shit like that eventually down the road, that's what that'll go towards, right? So it's there, whatever. I just decided to set it up. I said I wasn't gonna talk about it, but I'm talking about it. I didn't know that. I thought it was just more like a Patreon thing where like people can just like sort of like, hey, here's $1. I didn't know they also had a store kind of thing where you could sell shit that you make. So like publishing stuff is up there. Fred's First Adventure, you can buy it. You can buy the ebook bundles. I still got to put the physical stuff up there. Shipping's the same as it is over on the website. So if you're more comfortable buying it through that, go ahead. You get the ebook files immediately for download. DRM free. I don't put DRM in my fucking ebooks because it's bullshit. So yeah, you can do that. And yeah, that's it for that. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at DeadEndRoad, Facebook.com/DeadEndRoadTV, Twitch.tv/DeadEndRoadTV. Do YouTube search for DeadEndRoadTV. Email us anything at all, like how we should make the episodes much shorter. video@deadendroad.co. Okay, we will stop bothering you now. We will see you next time. Thank you for listening.
No.